So welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so excited to have you all here. It is Friday, April the 17th, and we're here for the April Learning and Development Roundtable meeting, the workshop. And today we're going to be talking about harnessing tech tools in turbulent times. So I thought turbulent was a good word to describe how things are recently. So if folks can just use your chat function, if you can just do a thumbs up or a yes, if you can hear me and see me okay. Is the volume okay? Are you comfortable? So your chat, you just click the chat button and you can ask questions there. Oh, Vivian says hi. Okay. Everyone else, can you hear me okay? Just put a yes, yes. Great, great. Okay, wonderful. Thanks, Winnie. Thanks, Alice. Oh, with the exclamation mark there. Okay, so a special welcome to those of you who've carved out time to come today, and a special welcome to the UN staff. The roundtables now count towards UN mandated training. So really happy to have all of you here in this turbulent time. Welcome, Raphael. Thank you for coming. So just a quick couple of words of introduction before we dive into our specific topic. I am the founder and facilitator of the Roundtable, and I started this 7.5 years ago. And I just, again, want to really warmly welcome you to our community of learning and development people. So if you are interested in learning, if you are interested in training, if you are interested in education, if you get lit up by seeking out new ways to look at things, new perspectives, new ways to learn things, you are so welcome to be here. And please feel free to share our community with other folks as well. Anyone that has an interest in those topics is really welcome, because I think to learn something is to be a little bit vulnerable. And to admit that you don't know something. So so thank you for showing up and for being so passionate about learning. Welcome, Selma. We're so happy that you're here. So I'm just going to share my screen right now. I will share the agenda. So again, just put a thumbs up if you can see the agenda in the chat. If you can just let me know that you can see it there. Great, okay. Okay, how's the size of it? Do you want me, I'll just make it a bit bigger here. So this is the agenda that I messaged all of you. So feel free to refer to your copy as well. I changed mine a little bit though. I know some of you haven't met me before, so I am sharing 3 things about myself here. And only 2 of these things are true. Welcome, Josephine. Thank you for coming. So the 3 things about myself, Leanne, are I have used tech tools to help save a life. Okay, I've used tech tools to help save a life. Number 2, I've been teaching tech tools since 2011. Welcome, Kathy. Thanks for coming. And I've been searching for something called nested lists since 1993. That's a particular type of tool. So put in the chat which of those things you think is not true. So is it number 1 is not true? Number 2 is not true? Or number 3 is not true? So which of those things do you think is not true? And just put number 1, 2, or 3 in the chat. So Vivian thinks number 3 is not true. Kennedy thinks number 3. Megan says it sounds totally bizarre, number 3. Kathy thinks number 1. Kanako, and pardon me if I'm not pronouncing your name properly. Feel free to put the phonetic pronunciation of your name if I'm getting it wrong. Larix says 2. Arnold says 3. Alice says 3. Zipporah says 3. Welcome, Francoise. Thanks for joining us. Okay, 3. So most people are saying 3. Helen says 1. Hi, Bailey. Welcome. Okay, so we're just talking about which of these 3 things folks thinks is not true about me. So starting with number 1, this is true. I had just moved to Nairobi, and there was a tragic accident, which I happened to hear about on Twitter. Someone had put my Twitter handle on, and through WhatsApp and Facebook and a bunch of other tools, I managed to cobble together some support and get someone airlifted out of Kenya, and played just a small role in helping to save that person's life. So very, very dramatic story. And number 2, is true. Since 2011, when I was approached in Canada by a university to start teaching, that at that time it was a workshop on social media. So yes, that's true. So those of you who guessed number 3, that is absolutely correct. I'm going to show you. Does anybody know what nested lists is? Put yes in the chat if you know. It's such a great feature. Most people don't. Okay, I promise you I will show you. I will demo it. Josephine, you know. Okay, great. So I'm going to be showing my age here, but I used to have a Newton, which was one of the very first personal digital assistants, a PDA, kind of a precursor to an iPhone, but not really. And it had nested lists in it. And so I, oh, Larry, you know it in programming. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. So I only recently, it was actually only just a couple of months ago, found a tool that had nested lists. So I will show that to you. Okay, so I want to hear, that's enough about me. I want to hear about who's online. So please put in the chat, what country are you in right now? What country are you in right now? Feel free to put that in the chat. So we've got Megan's from the UK, Alice is from France, Vivian's from Kenya. We've got France, Kenya. Panina and Sheila are joining us. Lots from Kenya. This is fantastic. Okay. Judy from Kenya. Great. Canada. Oh, Canada, your screen name is iPhone. So I'm not sure who that is, but who's ever coming from, I'm a Canadian. So welcome. Okay, great. And please put in the chat, roughly how many roundtables have you attended? So if this is your first one or your 10th one or your 3rd one, just roughly how many roundtables. So first one, great. Lots of first, second, first, 8th, great, from Kathy, great. 10th, A. Kennedy, great. Okay, first one, lots of first timers. So a special welcome to you folks. Okay, and 3 or 4, yeah, when it started, yeah, Sheetal back, I don't know, 7.5 years ago. So lovely to see you online, thank you. And Rabina, wow, 8 and 10, okay, great. Okay, and I'd love to know, why are you here? What's just a really short statement in the chat. Feel free to share, why are you here? What got you intrigued about tech tools to carve out time to attend this workshop? What made you decide to come? And actually, I'm just going to put that question in. So to learn and practically apply. The title was relevant and interesting. I'm an IT dummy. I don't believe that, Francoise. I think everyone knows more than they think they know about IT. Vivian, I'm switching from classroom teaching to online and need plenty of tips. Okay. Megan, because of COVID, need to get better at teaching, sharing online. Okay, to enhance my skills, from Helen. From Canadian iPhone, I'm interested in learning the new tech. From Arnold, I work with client support. Okay, Kathy, I'm being asked by clients about using different tools and want more of a context and how they how they interrelate. From Kanako, to learn more about different tools because there are many things that I'm not aware of. I love learning more, so in technology. The title. From Sheetal, you're always so up to date with trending tools, and I learned so much from the workshop. Aw, thanks. From Malcolm, we're moving to virtual meetings during this crisis, and possibly the future will be more virtual than ever, even after the crisis is over. Yes. From Rhoda, I work in digital transformation, learning what else is out there. Absolutely. Larix, I found the topic quite timely. It dwells in my industry and even more important now. Oh, Claudia's just joining us. Welcome, Claudia. And I'm working from home for the first time. I'm looking forward to getting tips on how to do it effectively. Oh, Panina, your audio function is not working. Check out the link that I sent in the email about Zoom tips, and maybe come off the call and then come back on and see if that helps, or turn your volume up. Lucy, I want to learn to use the virtual tools more. And Alice, really interesting topic. There's Panina coming back online. And relevant due to COVID and finishing my internship with the UN online. So I want to make the most of it by using tech tools better. Okay. Oh, awesome. Okay. So those are all super great topics. Know that in the back of my mind, when I was planning this workshop, I could have planned a week-long workshop. So I really had difficulty narrowing it down. And I want to be very mindful of your time. So in the back of my workshop, or in the back of my mind rather, next month's workshop, May, I'm thinking of holding another workshop on pretty much the same topic, because there's so many different tools out there. And also some of you have mentioned some very specific things, like how to run online meetings and things like that. So I'm going to ask you in a little bit about what you'd like to see for the next meeting, which topic, and also I'll ask you again at the end of the meeting. So think about that. If you enjoy this workshop and you want to come do the May workshop as well, which I hope you do, let me know. Let me know what topic you'd like to see for that. Okay. So just a couple of more housekeeping kinds of things. We are recording. So if you are a member of the Learning and Development Roundtable, you will receive an audio recording, you'll receive a video recording, and you'll receive a recording of all of our chat. So you do need to be a member of the Roundtable to do that, and I'll tell you about that, how you do that in just a second. Please use the chat function to ask questions or make a comment at any time. Oh, Panina, I saw that's great that it's working. You changed your browser. Okay, great. So please put a comment or a question in the chat function anytime. And I know that there's so much expertise in our virtual room, so please feel free to share your experience with these tools as well. We might do some small group work. We have that option in Zoom, so we may do that depending on our time. And you can also unmute yourself. So when you come into Zoom, you're automatically muted. So you can unmute yourself and ask a question. Just make sure that you re-mute yourself again after you ask your question, please. Okay, and also in the agenda, I put a link to an attendance form. So this is for the UN staff. This is how you get the roundtable counting towards your mandated training. So it's really important that you fill that in if you want this to count towards your UN training. And you just click on that link, and it's the same questions as you'd see on a regular UN attendance sheet. Okay, Talvi, welcome. We're so happy that you're here. Okay, our next meeting is May the 15th. So again, I'm thinking about holding Tech Tools Part 2. So please give me your feedback at the end of this meeting, how you feel about that. If you are new to the Roundtable, make sure that you're on the mailing list if you want to get access to all. I give you the PowerPoint, the audio recording, video recording of the chat, all the resources that I'm mentioning, those all go into our resource portal. So again, how you get access to that is through the mailing list. And you just click on the link. This is what the sign up sheet looks like. It's different from RSVPing. So when you RSVP, that looks like this here. This is the RSVP link. Sometimes people get that mixed up. So the RSVP is for a specific meeting. To get access to all 7 years of resources, you need to click on the link down here and join the group. So just let me know if you have any questions about that. And Rabina's saying, does WFP staff qualify for this? To get it to count towards your UN mandated training? I'm guessing so, Rabina. I don't know if it applies to secretariat. I'm not sure, actually. That's a really, really good question. So I will make a note of that. And you can also ask your HR person as well, but I'll clarify that for next time. Okay, if I don't write it down, it goes out of my head. So, okay. Okay, so just to help you, because I know some of you are new to these platforms, I just want you to be comfortable with the technology. So on the count of 3, feel free to unmute yourself. So you can figure out right now how to do that. And make sure you mute yourself again, because we have a lot of people on the call. And inevitably there'll be some background noise. So on the count of 3, I'd love you to yell your name so loud that not only the person in the next room to you hears that, but even the next building. So on the count of 3, unmute, and then yell your name. 1, giving you time to unmute. Can see you all unmuting. 2, 3, go!
Irene!
Okay, that was pathetic. Okay, let's try it again. Ready? Really loud. 1, 2, 3, go!
Irene!
Okay, that was pretty good. Okay, so please make sure that you mute yourself again. Okay, so you're just getting some practice, and I know some of you are pros with this, and but not all of us are. So I just want to make sure that everyone feels really, really welcome. And then another really interesting feature with Zoom is that we can just see here. I can give you a poll. So let me just a second here. Okay, so in a moment, just put yes. Oh, actually, and Gordon says there are other Zoom meetings in the house. Can't yell. Oh, I love that. I love that you're being digitally respectful there, Gordon. Thanks. Nice to see you online. Thanks for coming, Gordon. Okay, so in a second, you should see a poll on your screen. Okay, so put a yes if you can see the poll. Just put a yes in the chat or a thumbs up if you can see it. Great. Okay, so feel free to answer this poll. How is your energy level at the moment? So I could leap a tall building in a single bound. I need a running start to leap a tall building. With help, I could leap a tall building. I'd crash into a building if I tried leaping over it, or I can't even open my eyes to see the building. I'm so tired. What is your energy level right now? Okay, this is great. Okay, so just another couple seconds here. We've got roughly 20, 30 people participating. Anyone else? Okay. And by the way, Zoom tells me what percentage of people have voted. So I know that I can see that 69% of the people online have voted, 23 out of 33, 24. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to end the poll unless anyone else wants to vote. Anyone else? This is just a fun way to learn how to use the tool. There's no scientific background in this. Okay, I'm going to end the poll. And I am going to share the results. Just a tip with Zoom, I've noticed. So I'm just screen grabbing it right now because they, so can you see the results? Just put a yes or a thumbs up. Oh, Kathy's asking me if I'm using the pro version. Yes, I'm using the paid version of Zoom. Yeah. Okay. So if you use this feature in Zoom, know that they don't, you can see the results, but it's in a spreadsheet on the back end of the platform. They don't give it to you like this. So if you do use a poll, make sure that you do a screen grab if you want sort of a nicely formatted one. Otherwise, you need to do that yourself. Okay, so almost half of you, 42%, have fairly decent energy. Okay, and we don't have anyone with their eyes closed, so that's good. Okay. So I'm going to stop sharing that now. Okay. Okay. And I want to show you another really interesting feature on Zoom. These are just some fun ways to use these. Has anyone done a poll on Zoom before? Put yes in the chat if you have. Oh no, okay. Oh, so most of you know, okay. And yes, I know you use Teams for the UN, yeah. So I'm thinking about maybe doing some work in that too. Do you populate the poll in advance? Do you mean, do I create the poll in advance, Larix? Yes, you can do it in real time, but I get them ready ahead of time. Okay, so the other thing you can do, has anybody done annotation in Zoom before? Let me just make this a bit smaller. Okay. Has anyone done annotation? No? Okay, so let's try this. This is my first time too. Okay, so you should be able to annotate it now. So do you see a what says a blob tree on your screen? Okay, just put a yes if you. Oh, Larix says, oops. Okay, you can see it. Okay, and oops, Larix is saying, okay. I thought you had to be good at drawing. So actually annotation could be anything. So, oh, so someone's put this H. Okay. Oh, this is great. You're doing it. Okay. Let me change the color though, because it's hard to see where you're annotating. So my question to you is circle or just put an X or an arrow, whatever you like, on the little creature that represents how you feel about technology. So put an arrow or an X or a circle, whatever you like, on the creature that represents how you feel about technology. Okay, so Kathy has put one there, and you can see Kathy's name is attached there. We've got another circle down below. Oh, this is great. Nice. Okay, we've got an arrow coming in, a blue arrow, nice. Okay, and some of you have changed your colors, which is great. Okay. And you can put text. So Rabina, you just take your mouse and just hold your mouse down and circle or make an X, whatever shape you want. Kathy's saying, in other tools, you can make it anonymous. Can you do that in Zoom? That's a really good question. So Kathy, you're the only person that has your name on it. So there must be a setting there from your side. Oh, Rabina, it's not doing anything for you. Okay. I'm not sure why, but so for some people it's not working. Okay, so I'm gonna look into that more because again, this is my first time using it. And my goal is always to kind of push these tools and try to get them for us to be in control of them as opposed to the tools being in control of us. So, so I will look into that more. So it's just a fun way to, so Kanako is saying you need to go from view options to annotate. Okay, so go to view options and then annotate. Nice. Thanks, Megan. Thanks, Malcolm. Kanako. Okay, so I'll just leave that up for another second, just for you to play around. This is low stress, low pressure. Just have fun with this. I love, we've got some hearts, we've got some stars. Someone's colored in the O of the blob tree. By the way, this is a tool that I've paid for, the blob tree, so that won't be part of your package because it's not licensed for group use, but it's a really fun tool that I use for different things. Oh, Ying says it's working now. Great. Oh, great. Okay. So, okay. Okay, and we've got Muina's just joining us. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so I'm going to turn that off now. And I just want, so actually I can save that. So I just saved it and, oops. Okay, and I'm just gonna turn that off. Okay, so Oh, that's interesting. Can you see that it's staying on the screen? Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing because I've got to get rid of that. That's an interesting learning. Okay. Okay, so I want you, now whether this is old hat for you or totally new, just to feel some sense of competence and agency around this, because you've chatted, you've unmuted, you've muted, you've annotated, you've done a poll, like you've already used a bunch of these tools, and we've barely got started. So I hope that you have some, you feel some pride around that. Okay, let's just skip ahead now. So I'm going to go back to sharing my screen, but we will shift over to the PowerPoint here. So just put a thumbs up if you can see the PowerPoint in the chat. Okay. Oh, someone was asking, Megan was asking, how do you get the stars? And then Rabina, it's next to the draw button. Okay. So Vivian, yes, I have a lot of control, by the way, around the annotation. So I can make it so only I annotate, or I can allow other people to. So, okay. So, okay. So can you see the PowerPoint screen now? Okay. So Winnie, Winnie, I'm not sure you're asking for control of my screen. I'm just saying no there, just so you know. Okay. Okay. So, and Daisy is just saying good morning. Good morning, Daisy. Okay. So let's jump into what we came here for. Okay. And by the way, just a reminder that I will give you a copy of the PowerPoint here. Okay. Okay. So my goal for you is to feel competent and confident when it comes to tech, and to really feel like you're in control of tech. Larx is saying he realized that you can annotate on your PowerPoint. Just so you know, I did it. That's okay. That's totally fine. And Tito has just joined us as well. So welcome. Okay. So I love this quote from Lady Ada. Whoops, just go backwards here. So ideally, we want to use technology to be creative with it, to solve problems that people have, and create something beautiful and helpful and useful, things that connect to social change. By the way, I think someone is unmuted. I can hear some rustling in the background, so just check your mute button and make sure that you're okay there. So today I'm going to share 4 ways for how to be in control of technology. We're going to rewrite Einstein's theory of relativity. You're going to find out if you're a duck, an armadillo, a turtle, or a dolphin, and what the heck that has to do with technology. And you're going to discover 3 types of tech tools and learn about 4 tools in each of those types. Okay. So on a scale of 1 to 5, and I know this goes up to more than 5, but just as a funny graphic, on a scale of 1 to 5, how in control of tech do you feel right now? So 1 is I don't feel in control at all, and 5 is I really feel in control of my tech. So we've got a 4, 3, 4, 2. Okay. And just for the sake of, so I'm just typing in the question here because this chat gets saved. So if you look back at it, you'll know what we're talking about. Okay, so we've got a range 5 until it's not working. Yeah. Okay, so from a low of 2 to a high of 6. That's great, Kennedy, thanks. Okay, so the idea here is to create a tech plan. So we've talked in the past about learning plans at the Roundtable, and I'll share the links I'll share the links to that. Oh, Gordon's saying, don't understand the scale to is 10 good or bad? Oh, yeah, this is taken from, you know, those hospital pain scales. This is sort of a funny version of that. So yeah, so the idea here is to help you figure out, hopefully you have a learning plan for yourself for the year. And if not, like I'll give you that link to the roundtable that we did on that. This session is all about creating a tech plan for yourself. So, okay, so when it comes to harnessing technology, what are you curious about? I asked you sort of a broader question about, you know, why are you here? But are there any specific things that you're curious about? Feel free to put that in the chat. Are there any specific things that you're curious about in the chat? Welcome, Mike. Thanks for joining us. Any specific things that you're curious about in the chat? Creating relationships and connection, not just organizing and executing webinars, online learning. Nice. Okay. Anything else? Managing teams. Oh, great. Interaction and on, yes, how to be interactive. So I'm just putting this this question in the chat so we know what we're talking about if you look at this later. Conducting large-scale online meetings, working efficiently. Okay. Practical tools. Okay. How do I initiate annotation? Okay, great. With and without interpretation. Nice. Okay. So these are all great ideas for very specific future roundtables. So I'll definitely look at these. Larry's, how to make sure everyone is engaged. Absolutely. Yeah. By the way, what percentage of people do you think multitask when they're doing online work? What percentage of people, I'm just going to type that question in. So we've got a low of 60 to a high of 100. Yeah, 100 is pretty close. Research shows it's 93%. Yeah, which is pretty high. Okay, so keep those things in mind. Today we're really focusing on very specific tools, but a lot of those ideas are really great for very specific future roundtables. Kirsten says, everyone who is not video joining like me, but I'm actually not right now. Okay. Oh, Kathy says, please share. It's from, the source is Tech Change, which is a fantastic, fantastic organization. Okay, so 4 ways, so we're gonna jump into 4 ways to feel in control of your tech and to create a tech learning plan for yourself. And then that's the first part, and then we'll dive into the actual tools. So we're going to talk about some animals, and we're going to talk about Einstein. Sheetal's saying, how do you encourage people to do video, not audio? Oh, that's a big question. Sheetal, can we come back to that? Or actually, yeah, can I leave that with you, Sheetal, and see if any of what I'm about to say helps you with that, and if not, can you ask it again at the end of the workshop? Talvi, yeah, bandwidth issue too. By the way, in Zoom, I don't know if you have this in Teams, but in Zoom, you have a choice of the bandwidth that you're using for recording. So that's one really easy way to address access and inclusion issues, which is what I call these issues. Okay, so are you an armadillo, a duck, a turtle, or a dolphin? I'm going to share a link with you right now. Just give me a second here. And if you're able to, just click on the link and it will take you to a survey that has 3 questions on it that will help you understand if you're a duck, a dolphin, etc. Okay, so I'm just popping this in the chat right now. Okay. Okay, so the link is right there in the chat, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a sec, and then I'm going to reshare the actual survey. Just give me a second here. Okay. Okay, so can folks see my browser, my internet browser here? Just put a thumbs up or a yes in the chat if you can see it. Okay, great. Okay, so if you want to do this on your own, if you can click on that link above, there's basically 3 questions. So pick a statement that best describes you when it comes to tech. And there's 4 options. So you can look at it on your own browser, or you can look at it on my screen, whatever works best for you. If you're looking at it on my screen, keep track of the number that you pick. Oh, Canadian iPhone saying can't open it. Oh, can anyone else not open it? Is it not opening? Let me just try it. Is anyone else able to open it? I just put the link in there again. Let me know in the chat if you can get it. Oh, it opened. Okay, great. So if you're doing it from my screen, you can just take note of which number you're picking, 1, 2, 3, or 4. And if you're doing, Gordon saying, yeah, just copy the link and paste it into your browser. Or if that sounds too complicated, you can just do it on the screen here. Then pick a statement that best describes how you feel about tech. And again, if you're doing it from my screen, just take note of which number you're picking, 1, 2, 3, or 4. Oh, someone just unmuted themselves, if you're okay, unless you have a question. And then the third question, again, just keep track. Are you picking 1, 2, 3, or 4 if you're doing it? Oh, oh, this is interesting. I don't know how to. So folks, don't feel like you need to annotate. If you can take those annotations off, clearly I need to learn more about annotation. I didn't realize that you could continue to do that. It should work on the phone, but that's okay. You can just do it from the screen, or you can do it later on. So once you have your answers, and if you're doing it from my screen, you can, again, you should have picked one of these numbers, one of these, and one of these. If you're online, then you click done. Then it's going to take you to another screen here. And then you just track it'll pick which numbers that you picked. So you just look at those numbers. So this example is 3, 4, and 3. Then you this is your answer key here. Welcome, Serranos. Thank you for joining us. If you double click on this, this is your answer key. So if you picked mostly 1s, then this is based on and this sounds very academic, but if those of you who are interested in the background, this is based on the trans theoretical model of change. So if you pick mostly 1, you're basically in the pre-contemplation phase and you're a turtle. I'm going to stop sharing here and go back to the PowerPoint. Okay, so just give me another thumbs up if you can see the PowerPoint. Are you okay there? Okay. Oh, Kathy's saying under annotation, you can erase as a participant or clear as a facilitator. Oh, thanks, Kathy. Great. Okay. So I don't want to go into this in too much detail, but the idea here, because you can do this later on, but the idea here is to really understand where you and your team and or your boss and or your client and or your stakeholders, your partners, etc., your funders, if you're doing online work with them, where are they coming from? So turtles are not anywhere close to getting active. They really resist tech, and the way we can support turtles is to realize that there's lots of other turtles, lots and lots and lots of other turtles in the pond. So people are not alone in being a turtle, and if we can encourage turtles to try just tiny, 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 wee little steps, and then they can always go back into their shell. So that was if you picked number ones. Number twos, if you pick twos, you're an armadillo. So in the we call this the contemplation phase. So you're cautiously curious. Okay, you're cautiously curious. And I know I'm going through this a little bit fast. Know that you, as long as you're a member of the Roundtable, you'll get a copy of all of these slides. So the challenge for an armadillo is to really try to let go of the edge and move with the current. Right? So they can try things that are a little bit harder there. If you pick mostly threes, then you're in the preparation phase. So they're interested, ducks are interested, they're engaged, they're starting to get excited, like water off a duck's back. Sorry, I couldn't resist that pun. Ducks are drawn to tech tools. Hi, Tito. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Okay, and then ducks, they can really explore tech a lot. They're quite comfortable with it. If you picked fours, if you pick mostly fours, you're in the action phase. So dolphins are very active with technology, very, very comfortable, very sophisticated, very sleek, etc. And a nice role for a dolphin to play is to lend their experience to other people. So I did this workshop for some women in tech, and one of the things that they talked about with this was how important it is to know if there's a difference between where you're at and where your clients, participants, learners, team members, boss, funders, partners, etc. are at. So if you feel comfortable, and don't feel like you need to share, but if you do want to share, feel free to put the number that you pick the most, or put the animal. Are you a dolphin, a duck, a turtle, etc.? By the way, Gordon, so in Zoom, as you may or may not know, you can share messages privately with the facilitator. So Gordon has shared all of these really great instructions, which I'm just going to copy and paste for how to control the annotation, which is fantastic. That's so kind that you did that, Gordon. Thank you. Okay, so we've got some ducks. We've got armadillos. Okay, great, nice. And how many people there are different? Now I know that your team members or your partners, clients, etc., haven't taken this assessment, but how many people have a sense that you're a different animal than your clients or team members or partners, funders, etc.? You can just put yes, or just put same or different in the chat. Different, okay. Different, okay, nice, interesting. Okay, so that's really something to keep in mind. What could be so Lark says very different, yeah. What could be really, really easy for you could be extraordinarily difficult for someone that you're working with, or vice versa. Something that's really difficult for you can be a breeze, with a colleague. So very important to keep that in mind. Okay, so that's one way that you can get in control of tech, is to know what animal you are and what animal the people are that you're working with. Another way that you can get in control of tech, so the second of 4 ways, is to rewrite Einstein. So if you've heard of the theory of relativity, m plus c equals e squared, or sorry, e equals mc squared, I'm rewriting that with great respect to Einstein to m plus c equals e squared. Now this might sound complicated, but basically all you need to do is think about a pain point that you have in your life. So think about a pain point, something that's challenging, you struggle with it, it's frustrating, it's annoying, it's overwhelming, etc. And then give that pain point a number from 0 to 2 in terms of how much does that matter to you. So 0 would be, it's not a big deal in my life. 2 is, oh, it really, really matters to me. Okay, and then, so an example might be email. Okay, so an example for someone might be, oh, this is a big, big issue for me. So I would assign email, it really, really matters to me. So I would assign that a 2. And then give it another number from 0 to 2 for how constantly is that happening for you. So how frequently, in this case, is email an issue? So maybe the person I'm thinking about, maybe this is, you know, an issue for them all the time. So they would assign it a 2. Okay, so when you add those 2 numbers up, 2 plus 2 equals 4. And any pain point, any challenge, any issue that you're facing that gets a score of 4, in other words, it really matters to you, it's very important, you've given it a 2. And you've also given it a score of 2 for constant because it's always happening. That area, that pain point, that challenge, by its very score then, is a place for you to focus on where technology can bring some ease and efficiency. And the ease and efficiency is the e squared. So any examples of issues that you're facing that you think you would give a score of 4 to? Or do you have any questions about rewriting Einstein's rule? Oh, Vivian's saying poor connectivity. Okay. So is it okay. Hi, Hannah. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Are folks able to hear me okay? Is it my connectivity that is causing an issue? Just if you can hear me okay, just put a yes in the chat. Rhoda's saying yes, it's okay. Okay, great. Okay. So yeah, so think about what are the issues in your life that really matter to you, that are happening all the time, and those are arrows that are pointing to places to focus on where technology may be able to help you bring some ease and some efficiency. Winnie's saying life, get machines to do a lot of your work. Yeah, that's great. Okay. Okay, so far we've done our technology personality. We've rewritten Einstein. A third simple way that you can get on in control of tech and feel in control and instead of it controlling you is to figure out, are you in a place to do a toe, dip, or dive? So a toe is, I only have a limited amount of time. I have a limited amount of attention. I have 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I just don't have a lot of capacity right now. I'm going to do something. I'm just going to put my toe in. Okay. Secondly, if a dip is, I can go up to my waist. Oh, I'm just getting some private messages here. Oh, if you want to turn off your video, folks are asking about their video. If you want to turn it off, that's fine. It's completely up to you. It takes up more bandwidth for you. So if that's an issue, feel free. And then the third one is you are ready to dive in. So that's someone who has a lot of time, a lot of capacity, a lot of interest in tech issues. Oh, Leah's saying, my concern is that automation of systems is encouraging laziness. What do you think? I think it depends on what you do with your time. So I have automated a lot of my systems. Because I've taken a deep dive into technology and how it can really, I've spent probably the last year on this, looking at how technology can really help me with my systems. In my world, that really helps me then focus on the things that only I can do, right? If technology can free up time so that you can focus on the very best of yourself that you're giving to the world, the very best of the ways that you can be of service, then I think it's a fantastic place to be. If you use that extra time to not do good, or to, I mean, in this case, be lazy, as someone said, then that's another issue. Yeah, Malcolm's saying boring and automated stuff, or boring and repetitive stuff should be automated. And Lucy is saying, yes, for folks, we'll get this recording as long as you're a member of the Roundtable. So that's not a problem at all. Yeah, and focusing on where you can add value and you have interest and capacity and time. Yeah, so Helen, yeah, finding the time. Yeah, so you might be at this point, a toe or maybe a dip. Okay, so that's the third way. And then the fourth way, before we switch into the actual tools, oh, and Francoise is saying, can you give me an example of what you did? I will. I absolutely will. So Francoise, when I talk about ClickUp, or a lot of the tools that I'm going to bring up, starting in just a minute, are examples of what I've done. And Kathy's saying, unfortunately, there are compatibility issues at times and very little support. For 4 weeks, we cannot figure out why a computer cannot connect to Zoom. Oh, yeah. So the challenge with technology is, when it's not working, it is incredibly frustrating. And, I just encourage you to reach out and ask people, Google the problems, and, because when it does work, it is amazing. So speaking of working, the fourth and final way in terms of figuring out your technology plan is to figure out the difference between the type of tool and the specific tool. So sometimes when I do these workshops, people will say, well, I can't download tools onto my laptop because it's a work laptop, or etc. That's someone focusing on the valley, the details. What it's important to do is to figure out, to stay on top of the mountain and figure out the type of tool that you're looking for to solve a particular type of pain, a particular type of challenge, for example. So those are two very different, very different things, right? If you're staying on top of the mountain, we're focusing on the type of tool. When you get down to the valley, then you can focus on the very specific tool that can help you do that. Okay. Yeah, Sheetal's saying at DIY solutions, Googling. Arnold is giving some suggestions for Kathy around antivirus. Yeah, that's great. Oh, love our community. Okay, so those are 4 different ways that I'm really hoping you can harness to then apply to any particular pain point you're facing, and to pick a particular tool. So the last thing I'll say before we dive into the actual tools, which is the really fun part, is to really stay in the driver's seat. So really using those 4 methods, using your tech personality, the Einstein way, rewriting Einstein as a way to identify where you should put your focus, figuring out your capacity. Are you able to do a toe, dip, or dive? And then knowing the difference between being on top of the mountain and focusing on the type of tool, and being in the valley and focusing on the specific type of the tool. Those things will help you stay in the driver's seat, help you stay in control. Because some of you won't be able to, without workarounds or, involving ICT, be able to download things to your computer. You'll be using, different systems. So I can promise you that you won't all be able to use the tools I'm going to show you. but you should be able to use all of the types of tools and then pick from the specific tools that I've showed you. Okay, are you ready to dive into some actual tools, the actual fun part? How are you feeling? How's everyone? Give me a thumbs up or a comment in the chat. How are you feeling so far? Yeah, Malcolm saying you can install Zoom on a phone or a tablet. Yep. Nice. Good. Ready? Okay. Awesome. Okay. Hi, Josephine. Welcome, welcome. Okay, great. So here we go. Okay, so there are three main types of pain or frustrations or annoyances, and those equal three different types of tools. So I'm going to share with you 4 types of tools for each of these 3 categories. So one category is tech tools for building community, for researching and for listening. One category is tools to promote communication and for learning. And the third type of tool are tools for ease and efficiency. So let's dive in. Okay, so here we go with the difference between staying on the mountain and being in the valley. So the type of tool, in terms of tools for building community, researching, and listening, is a tool that will help you store, curate, and find resources. Okay, that's the type of tool. The specific tool that can do that is bookmarking. Okay, so bookmarking, I'm going to, how many people on the call already bookmark? That's where you save something to your browser. Okay, we've got an I do, yes, 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 great. Sometimes, okay. And how many people have their bookmarks in folders? Does anyone put their bookmarks in folders on their desktop? Yes, in folders, great. No, okay. So I strongly recommend that you take some time to figure out what are the sites that you go to all the time and bookmark those to the computer or laptop or tablet that you use the most. So for example, when I do my social media every week, in my browser, in a folder, I have all of I do quotes and bids and memes and testimonials, and it's all set out in one folder. So it's super fast, super easy. Doesn't take me any time at all because I can just pull those all up. So that's one example of a tool. And I, again, strongly recommend that you take a look at your bookmarks and clean them up. Are there ones that are missing? Can you organize them? I have a productivity folder on my browser. I have a digital folder. It just makes things so much faster. Malcolm saying there's a great tool called Pocket. For articles for reading later. Yeah, absolutely. Great, I'm gonna make a note of that and I'll add that to the list. Thanks. Okay, now, so that's one example that and by the way, I've tried to do tools that for all of the different animals and for all of the different toe, dip, and dive. So some of these will be really, really simple and some of these will be a lot more difficult. But usually when they're more difficult, then they have a lot more features. Helen saying I save links on my desktop, but I'm going to use the Pocket going forward. That's great. Awesome. Okay, so then the other tool is social bookmarking. So the problem with bookmarking is it's really hard to share, okay? And it's really hard to access. It's impossible to access those bookmarks if you're on a different computer. So I'm going to bring you, actually, I'll give you a demo of that in just a minute. So how many people on the call use a social bookmarking tool, which is like bookmarking, but you can share them socially? No, okay. This is gonna blow your mind, people. Okay, I will demonstrate it in just a second, but I'm just gonna go through the tools quickly. Oh yeah, Sheila used to use, so Delicious doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, okay. And Malcolm, is Get Pocket a social bookmarking tool? I wonder if that's, okay. I've made a note of that. Okay, so I'll demo that in a minute. But before, oh, it's not social. Okay. I'll be saying my kids would hate it if I could share bookmarks with them. Yeah. Oh, that's a really good point, actually, because you can make these public or private in the social. Okay. So then the another tool. Okay. So far we've stayed on the mountain. So a type of tool for storing, curating, and finding resources, a bookmarking tool. And all browsers have bookmarks, whether you're in Chrome or whatever browser you use. The same type of tool, but a social, be able to share them. That specific tool is a social bookmarking tool. Now, if you need to visualize your data, one way to do that is through word clouds. So super, super, super simple. If you haven't seen a word cloud before, this is an example of one. So word clouds look at data by frequency, and they will make words larger that appear more often. So the larger the word, the more often it appears in the text. And the smaller the word, the less frequently it appears in the text. So this, I was doing some conflict resolution work with a client, and I asked them how they felt about conflict. You can see it's a real jumping off platform for discussion, right? And education and community building and capacity building. And Malcolm saying you can share articles with others on Facebook, Twitter. Yes. So you're right, Malcolm. You can absolutely share articles, but they're done kind of one at a time. So I'm going to show you how social bookmarking is a little bit different from that and kind of takes it to a whole other level. Okay, so word cloud is a third tool, and a great tool for that is wordle.net, or just it's the best one, but it's an old tool, so it can sometimes have trouble with your browser. Pardon me. But just Google word clouds because they're very fast to make and very easy. Hi, Kanako, welcome back. And you can change all of the type of font and the color, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Super, super great and easy tool. Okay, and then the third type of tool is surveys. So that's staying on the mountain is the type of tool. And then the specific tool you can use, SurveyMonkey, Google Forms, whatever you like. Oh, how do you spell Wordle? Let me just tell you. I'll just put it in the wordle.net. So let me give you some examples. I'm going to stop sharing right now, and I'm going to reshare my screen. Okay, just give me oops. Sorry about that, oops. Okay, so just give me a thumbs up in the chat if you can see my browser now. Great, okay, great, okay. So here is an example of so I've gone from explaining the 4 types of tools to giving you some demos now. So Diigo, D-I-I-G-O, is a social bookmarking tool. And it is, this is the URL of my account. So you can go into any item. Okay, so this is an example of a survey here. But if I just move this down here. Okay, so you see this, can you see this little blue D, this little blue square here, folks, on my browser? Just put a yes in the chat if you can see that. Okay, so I've installed Diigo on my browser. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to bookmark this page. So I'm going to click that little blue thing. I'm going to click Save as a Bookmark. It automatically populates, it puts the title of the page in there. And this is the cool part. So you're going to add tags here. So this is all on motivation. This is a blog post. Maybe it'll also suggest some tags. You can add a description. Diigo will default to public unless you click this private. And Malcolm, I haven't used it, but they also have a read later tag as well. So as soon as I click save, and I go back to my page, okay, so I'm now in my Diigo account. It's right here. Okay, oh, it actually didn't even really need to reload it. It automatically populated. So what's the big deal about that? Well, the big deal is that these are, it lists the most popular tags that I have used. So if you're interested in learning and development, tools, productivity, etc., let's say I click on productivity. Actually, I should let you choose. Put a tag here that you're interested in. Just which tag do you want me to click on in the chat? Gordon's saying 500 bookmarks per lifetime that will force you to pay very soon. Oh, for Diigo, Gordon? Are you talking about Diigo? EdTech. Okay, let me click on EdTech. Oh, folks, if you cannot, if you can take off your annotation there, that would be great. So you can see I clicked on EdTech, and now I have all of the links that I've saved under EdTech. And if I've made it public, you can see those as well. Gordon, thank you. I'm going to look into that because I was using Delicious and it went away, and so that's a good thing to know. And there's a premium account, he's saying, yeah. So this is a fantastic way to share resources, because all I have to do is share a particular tag with you, and you can see all of those things, right? So as long as as long as you have my account, you can see all the things that I've shared under that tag. So very simple, very easy to use, and very easy to share. Okay. And then any questions about the social bookmarking? Okay. So some ways that you can particularly use it is you could have an event, a conference, pardon me, folks, and tag things, and then just share those with people. It's a very simple way of making resources easy to share. And Vivian saying, is it public or private, or can you limit it? Yeah, you can. So when you go to tag something, by the way, when you tag something, you see that little red dot appears. That means you've tagged it. So down here, there's a private thing. So if I click that box, then I can see the link that I've shared, Vivian, but other people if I give them my account, they can't see the link. So you have the choice. You have the choice to make it public or private. Okay, so surveys. And Vivian, what if I wanted a limited group? If you wanted to share it just with certain people, I think it's either public or private. I mean, you could just maybe not just share that particular, your account with people. Maybe you could do it that way. These are great questions. And this is where when you get down into the valley and you figure out the particular tool that will work for you. Diigo may not be it, but just look for the type of tool, which is a social bookmarking tool. Okay, so the other tool here I just wanted to quickly show you is, I use surveys a lot. And the great thing with surveys is that it gives you all of this data in the back end that you can save and use and build on. And, it's just a really easy way to do research and listening. Okay, so tons more tools, but I want to be mindful of our time. So I will take us back to the PowerPoint here. And we will, so we've talked about 4 different tools for building community, researching, and listening. Now I want to take you to the next category of tools, oops. Oh, sorry, folks. Okay, so these tools are tools for communication and learning, right? So we've talked about tools for research and listening. The second category is tools for communication and learning. So staying on top of the mountain in terms of the type of tool, I strongly recommend, if you don't already have one, that you have a to-do tech tool. So a tool that helps you keep track of simple to-dos. Put in the chat if you have one. Is there a to-do tool that you use? What are people using here? So people are saying no. Oh, Wunderlist. Yes, yes. Notes. Yeah, absolutely. Google Keep. Yeah, great. Okay. So if you don't have one, and I'll demonstrate workflowy in just a minute. But this is a super simple way of keeping track of things. And Kristen's asked a really good question. What's the advantage over paper? So if paper works for you, keep using paper. The huge benefit to tech is that it's much easier to remember the milk. That's a good one. It's much easier to find. So the search functions in to-dos, it's much easier to share, and it's much easier to keep. And it's much easier to access. So you don't have to worry about someone stealing or losing your day timer, or if you have a paper book that you've kept track of stuff, it's just really hard to find stuff. Yeah, Todoist is another great one. So I'll demo Workflowy in just a second, but that's an example of a specific tool. So another example is project management. So who uses a project management tool? Anybody? So to-dos are just simple, like don't forget to do this thing. Project management are just much bigger. Yeah, MS Project. Oh, Doodle? You use Doodle as a project management? Huh, that's interesting. Asana, yeah. Yeah, so project management tools, you may or may not use them, or you may or may not need them, but if you're needing to manage, if you're finding that things are just getting a little out of control and you need to manage your clients, you need to manage your projects, you need to manage your onboarding, all of that kind of stuff, then a project management tool is really, really good. Yeah, some of them are expensive if you're having to pay for them on your own. So again, stay on top of the mountain, figure out if you need this tool, and if you do, you can look around and see the best ones that work for you. I'll show you one that I use, which is called ClickUp. Okay, and then video conferencing. So this has become the huge, how many of us use, I've been using Zoom for years, but for many people, video conferencing is new, and hopefully I've showed you a couple of new things you can do with Zoom. So it's a one that's really, really popular. Online whiteboarding. Malcolm's just shared an example that I'll put that in the resources too, Malcolm. Thank you. Just making a note. Okay. Okay, so other tools for communication and learning, we've got our to-dos, we've got our project management, and we've got video conferencing. A fourth one is, and I think sometimes we forget about this, is using apps. So figure out how an app can help you, right? And go be proactive and stay in the driver's seat and look at how an app can solve a particular problem or challenge that you're facing. Yeah, Trello is another big one, Malcolm. Yeah, project. So I'll show you one called Be My Eyes. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing here. I'm going to share my browser. Okay, just give me a thumbs up if you can see my browser right now. Great, okay. Hi, Helen, did you have a question? Feel free to unmute yourself or ask it in the chat if you like. Oh, okay. I saw that you'd raised your hand there. Okay. So workflowy. So this is Workflowy, and it's a free tool, and it is so simple to use. So do you remember I talked about those nested lists? This is what I mean by nested lists. So you can have different levels of things. So you can roll them up, you can unroll them, etc. So what I've done for you is I've made an example list of all of the resources that I've covered in this workshop. So super simple. I use these for like for my grocery list. I have a virtual assistant, and I keep track of all of his tasks. And one of the cool things about Workflowy is I can drag and drop these. So he always knows, looking at this, what order of the tasks to do in. Malcolm's saying Quip is also good to take notes too. Okay, nice. So super simple. You can be up and running with Workflowy in 5 minutes. A draggable list of dangerous on your phone. My keep items kidding. Oh, I don't find that on Workflowy, but some person's asking if it is open source. It's free. I don't know if the coding of it is open source. Raphael wants to see the VA. Yes, I'm trying to think what's in here. Yep, so there's tons of stuff in here, right? It's a huge, huge list. So he can tell, so for example, he knows, we have a whole sort of 7-stage process for blog posts. And he knows when they're ready for him to schedule, when I've reviewed them, et cetera, et cetera. Super easy. Large phone and one thumb. Yeah. Oh yes. And Malcolm said, yeah, you can use Amazon Alexa, you can use Siri, all those kinds of things. So that's an example of a to-do, simple to do. Another one is ClickUp, and this is a very, very complicated project management tool. And I'll show you what I can do here. So you can, give an example here. Oops. Let me just see here. So you can type an example task. And what I've done is, depending where I'm putting it, which list, I can put like how hot the lead is. You can add checklists. It is just remarkable. It's absolutely remarkable, but it's also, you're not going to be up and running in a few minutes. It takes because there's so many features. It will take you some time. But if you do need a project management tool, it's fantastic. Hi, Hannah. Thanks for joining us. Okay, and then I talked about the apps. So has anyone used Be My Eyes? Do you know this app? Just put yes or no in the chat. No. Okay, so this is an app that you install on your phone, and there are millions of people using it. And if you have it on, a blind or a low vision person can call you through the app to use your eyes. So I've had a student in Kenya call me on his phone in his this was obviously a while ago, in his new dorm, and he held his phone up to the room and walked around his room, and he asked me things like, what color is the carpet, and what's on the walls? And so basically he used my eyes to describe his room. I've heard stories of someone dropping an earring, and they get someone on Be My Eyes, and that person's eyes are used to find oh, it's a little to your right. No, go up, more, up. No, okay, over to your left. It's incredible, and it's free, and if you're a sighted person, it's a very simple way to be of service. Incredibly creative, and the testimonials from the blind or low vision people are remarkable in terms of how much independence it brings. And there's interestingly, there's way more sighted people on the app. So if someone calls you, you have to answer in a millisecond, otherwise it goes to someone else, because it's so popular. So yeah, it is. It's really ingenious, Larix. It's really cool. So, I'm not suggesting necessarily that you get this app, but if you stay on top of the mountain and you think about the type of tool, like really identify that pain point, use that Einstein rewritten that we talked about, identify your issue, identify your pain point, and then in this case, go searching for an app that can help you. Because you just never know what you're going to find, what you're going to be able to find. So, how are you doing? How's everyone feeling? Do you have any questions so far? So far, we've covered 4 different ways to stay in control of your tech and to create a tech plan. We've covered 4 different tools for research and listening. We've covered 4 tools for communication and learning. Any issues, any confusion before we go on to the last category? Useful tools. Malcolm, you put a question mark. I'm not sure what that means. Do you have a question, or you can just let me know? Okay, are you okay to go ahead, to proceed? Just give me a thumbs up or a yes. Oh, Malcolm, can the list of tools be compiled and shared with everyone? Absolutely. So I will share all of them with the members of the Roundtable. So just make sure that you've clicked to join. That link is on the agenda, and you'll get everything next week. By the way, I don't know if folks, if you scrolled across, if you can, Malcolm, I hope you don't mind. I'm kind of doing a specific example of you, but if you can see his video on Zoom, you can put your own backgrounds, and Malcolm has it looks like the planet Earth behind him. It's a really cool. If you haven't seen his video, take a look. Looks great. Okay, so let's go on to our last category before we talk about what are we going to do with all this stuff. How are you going to, in other words, how are you going to use your learning? Okay, so oh, Malcolm, you can add a video to your background? Oh, Sheetal has to leave. Oh, I know, she had a meeting. Okay, but it's a bit distracting. Yeah, I can imagine. Okay, so again, we covered 4 different ways to be in control of tech. We've covered 2 out of the 3 types of tech tools. One is research and listening. The second category was tools for communication and learning. And the third one is usually the most popular one, which are tools for, oh, that was the slide for Be My Eyes, for ease and efficiency. So, yeah, video would hurt people with low bandwidth for sure. Yeah, okay. Whoops, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Okay, so does anybody use an automatic grammar and spelling check tool when you're composing email, or if you're writing a blog or anything like that? Malcolm uses Grammarly. Oh, Be My Eyes is my favorite right now. Yeah, yeah. In Word, yeah. Okay. So for those who don't, Grammarly is amazing, and I am a diehard Mac fan, but I use Gmail, but I'm pretty sure it works with OneNote. Is anybody using Grammarly and OneNote? Just watching the chat there. I'm pretty sure it works in OneNote. Yeah, okay. So if you have this, again, super simple, super easy, get this installed, and it really helps. You don't have to be like in Word and do proactively do a word, a spelling check. It does it as you type. So it's great. Okay, and then another one is, does anyone, I'm so curious, does anybody use a text expander? Or do you know what a text expander is? Anybody use a text expander? No? Okay. So this for me was a game changer. I've been using this for years and years now. This is the only tool that I'm suggesting that costs money. By the way, all the other tools are free, but this is completely worth it in my opinion. Rabina, it's a little bit like what Gmail suggests, but 1,000 times better. So these are different types of text expander tools. So the one I use is Type It For Me, and that works with Mac. I cannot comment on FastFox or Breevy because I have not used them, but I understand that they work on PCs. And I will actually demonstrate a text expander in a minute, but let me explain to you what it is. A text expander uses what we call boilerplate text. And boilerplate text, and that's not important, you don't have to remember that word, but is text that we type all the time. So how do you start your email? How do you end your email? Is there a URL that you use all the time? Is there a question that your client or your partner or your funder or a participant, a learner asks you all the time? There's a very, very common question that you're having the same answer to all the time. It basically you teach it what that text is, and then instead of having to type it all out or go to another document and copy and paste, it takes a tiny bit of text and it expands it. So, our iPhones have this, our smartphones have it, but this is a much, much bigger feature. And I don't want to switch back and forth too much. I don't want to get you nauseous between my browser and the PowerPoint. So I will demonstrate in just a second. But first of all, let me explain the other two tools, and then I'll demo those as well. Okay. Okay. Does anybody here use a clipboard manager? Anybody use a clipboard manager tool? Remember, that's the top of the mountain. That's the type of tool. Anybody use one? Rabina, I don't know what snip is, so I'm not sure. You can tell me once I explain it. Okay. Okay, no. Okay, this also huge game changer for me. A clipboard, how many people, so how many people without you knowing, have to sort of strategically copy something because you know that the next time you copy text, it's going to overwrite the text that you copied before that? Does that make sense? You're like, oh, I wish I could copy these 3 things, but I know that sometimes when I copy this, then it erases that. So this solves that problem beautifully. So text expander and clipboard and my Type It For Me, which is the type of tool, the very specific tool that is a text expander, and FlyCut, which is the specific clipboard manager tool, I use every single day. They are amazing. So I know this probably isn't making too much sense yet, but I don't want to switch back and forth, like I said, too much. So I'll demonstrate that in just a second. So Clipboard Manager is not the tool, Helen. Clipboard Manager is the type of tool, and FlyCut is the specific tool. And yes, Rabina, FlyCut is free. I don't know, it works on my Mac, so I don't know if it works on a PC, to be honest, but just make a note. If you like the tool, make a note that it's called a Clipboard Manager, and you can Google another one. And yes, I will demonstrate it. It's super simple. Okay, and then Google Docs. So how many people, now, I know some of you might be groaning, like, oh, come on, everybody knows Google Docs, and like, why are you doing this tool? Does anybody know that Google Docs has, wait for it, has OCR? It has optical character recognition. This was a recent discovery of mine, and is absolutely incredible. Anybody know? Do you know this? That Google Docs, you may not know what OCR is, so I don't want to make you feel, okay, but how about we go to some demos? You want to have some fun with some demos? I will explain OCR. Okay, so let's go to Text Expander. Okay, so I'm going to stop my share and I'm going to share my browser. You're being very kind and patient with all this switching back and forth. So thank you for that. Okay, so let's go to, yeah, Malcolm, yes, OCR is optical character recognition. Thank you, Malcolm. Okay, so you might recognize someone on this call. So I'm just going to switch back over to Larix here. So how many people type in yes if you're on LinkedIn? So put yes in the chat if you're on LinkedIn. Okay, yeah. Okay, how many people, when someone connects with you, do you spend some time writing like a couple paragraphs to them? So someone's asked to connect with you, they're interested in connecting with you. How many, does anybody spend 5-10 minutes with each person writing a couple paragraphs to share resources with them? Okay, so I'm getting mostly no's. Okay, so here is the magic of a text expander. So Larix, I hope we were chatting on LinkedIn just a little while ago. So I hope you're okay with me. There's no personal information here. So okay, so I'm going to demo a text expander. So basically, you teach a text expander. I've taught my text expander that when I type LinkedIn TB, can you all see that? You can see me typing LinkedIn TB there? Okay, so when you teach a text expander that a certain amount of text stands for something else, it can't be a word that you type all the time, because when you type that word, it will expand it. So for me, let me just do this live again. I've taught mine when I type LinkedIn TB, that means touching base, and I hit enter, it spits out all this text, right? So look at how much text it does, right? So I can be of service, I can share all this information, and I can personalize it, but I don't have to go and copy and paste and, you know, all of that kind of stuff. And I know that if I type in LinkedIn TBN, and so that means to me that the N stands for Nairobi. So this is someone that's in Kenya or Nairobi, and I hit enter, it's slightly different. You know, it's meant to be for someone that's in Kenya or in Nairobi. And I think it was Gordon, whoops, hang on, sorry folks. We've got some people. Hi Mohammed, hi Lucy, thanks for joining us. Sorry. The really great thing about, Gordon, I'm thinking about your thumbs on your iPhone with resizing here. Come on, silly thing. Sorry, folks. Computer's complaining with all my tabs open, I think. Okay, so the really wonderful thing about text expanders is that you can use it in LinkedIn, in email, when you're blogging, in Word. You can use it anywhere. It is absolutely amazing. So I'm going to switch over. Can you see my Gmail account here? Just pop a yes in. And Malcolm's sharing some resources there, which is fantastic. So I told you that the Type It For Me, which is a specific tool that is a text expander. It works in every platform. So I know that when I type I ho, remember it has to be something that you don't type all the time, and I hit enter, it expands to I hope this finds you well. So if you get an email from me, 99% of the time it starts with that. And it also ends with, if I type TY and hit enter, sometimes it backs up a bit and has trouble. There we go. Mostly my emails end with this. Okay. And you can also, it's not just text, so you can do this as well. So I just did thank and then Q with a Q instead of a, it also does images, right? It is amazing. It is absolutely amazing. Oh, so Larix wants to know, how do you know? Okay, great question. So here is my type it for me. Now this will be different depending on the tool that you use, right? So if you're using something that works with, you know, a PC, so this is only type it for me, but it's super simple. I just type plus, so let's just say I don't know, you put your, whatever abbreviation you want, and then you put whatever it is that you want that thing to expand to, and then you click save. And you can see how many different ones I have, right? Like directions to my house. My VA's name is Vipin, so I don't type out Vipin, I type VI, and it expands to his name. So pretty cool, right? Is that like a high five? Would you give that like 5 out of 5, folks? I don't know. I get really excited about this stuff. I just think it's such an amazing tool. Any questions about the text expander? Does that make sense? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and it, you know, it does take some time. Yeah, I agree, Megan. Totally cool. And it saves, you know, I think we all come into this world and we develop our skills and talents in a very unique way. And there's certain things that only we can do. And if we can free up our time through text expanders and social bookmarking and et cetera, then we can be more of service doing the unique, amazing things that we do. Yeah, Megan's saying she's in the early 2000s and then stuck. I don't agree, because you're on the call. You're on the call. Okay, Flycut. Are we okay to switch to the clipboard manager? Okay. I'm just waiting. Or do we have a thumbs up to, are we okay to do this? Okay, just be careful if you're in the blogging field not to forget your grammar. Yes, yeah. Well, then you've got Grammarly, so yeah. Okay, so Flycut is your clipboard manager. So see this, can you see this little tiny red kind of door up here, folks? You see this here? This is my, no, oh, Rubina, you can't see it. So it might be too tiny, but basically this is Flycut and I've installed it on my browser. So I know when I hit that little red button that this is the history of my clipboard. So what I mean by that is every time I copy something, oh, so folks, can you not see a pull down menu? Folks are not seeing, oh really? Oh, that's interesting. Why is it only, okay, hang on. So that's interesting. I can see it on my screen, but you can't see it on yours. Okay, so what I just did, let me just send it to you here. I took a screen grab and I'm just gonna pop it in the chat. Oops, hang on here. Sorry, folks, just give me a sec. Oh, maybe what I'll do, hang on. I know what I'll do. I will attach it to this email. Sorry, it's even better. Why should I? Okay, can you see? Okay, I might need to change the screen I'm sharing. Huh? I learned last month in Zoom that I have to be careful if I share my desktop, because if I share my desktop, then you can see everything, including, unfortunately, last month, all the photos of folks were over top of the PowerPoint. Okay, so can you see this screenshot here? See that I'm circling? Yes, okay, great, okay. And Malcolm is saying best product, oh yeah, clipboard history. Okay, so I think Malcolm's put a different tool, Clipboard History Pro, probably Pro means you have to pay for it. So that's an example of being in the valley, a specific tool. So yeah, whatever, if you decide you want a clipboard manager, that's being on top of the mountain. That's the type of tool. And Flycut, you can actually probably see it now. Can you see the drop-down menu now when I click that because I've shared my desktop? Yeah, okay. So this is the history of my clipboard. So, and the clipboard is simply, when you copy something, it goes to a clipboard. And normally you don't see the clipboard. But I don't know about you, but I didn't realize that this was a problem for me until I started using a clipboard manager. I didn't realize how strategic I was by not copying something because I still needed that last copy, and okay, I can't do this because I don't want it to overwrite that one. So this is absolutely fantastic. And you don't have to, you can copy a ton of things and then paste them as you wish. And Flycut actually has a search function. So in your preferences, you can choose how many of these display, because it'll go back 100 or something. Well, I don't know about 100, but a lot. So you choose how many you want it to display. And if the one that you're looking for isn't there, you can do a search. Now, the only caveat, so Larix, I don't know if it works on a PC. So yeah, I don't know, but remember to stay on top of the mountain. So if Flycut doesn't work, what's the name of this tool? What's the type of tool that I'm talking about? Do you guys remember? So Flycut is a what type of tool? Because this is what you'll want to Google if Flycut doesn't work on a PC. Yeah, a clipboard manager. Yeah, exactly right, clipboard manager. Malcolm's saying it only works on Mac. So that's totally fine. Remember to stay in the driver's seat and just make sure that you're Googling clipboard manager. The only other thing I wanted to tell you about this before we move on, because I want to be mindful of your time, is when you paste it, and this is sometimes a pro and a con, it pastes without formatting. It pastes without formatting. So sometimes that's brilliant. If you're pasting into a blog or something like that, that's what you want. But sometimes you do want that formatting, so you might have to go back. Okay, so let me just take a quick look. Oh, sorry, I was too quick. Let me just to go back here. I wanted to do one quick thing, and I'm hoping that this will also blow your mind. Okay, I'm just going to share my browser again. Okay, so do you remember when I said that Google Drive has optical character recognition? Okay, so optical character recognition is basically it can recognize handwriting and even convert a PDF. So I'm in the middle of creating a 3-part blog post series about resources to learn, laugh, and lead during Corona. And one of them is all these resources to help us laugh and have some levity and lightness. So I had this story that I want to put into the blog post, but it's very old and it's in PDF. So no problem, because when I click on this, right, so I've uploaded, you can see, right? It's a PDF. But here is the most amazing thing, I think, is when you click open, you open with, so instead of opening as a PDF, you open it in Google Docs. Now it'll take a minute. So imagine you have some text on a meme that you want to translate, or something like that. You simply upload it into Google Drive, and then you open it in Word, and it will do its very best. She said, oh, I think we need another drum roll. There we go. There it is. So it didn't do it perfectly, but that's pretty good, right? I mean, I'd be interested to know how many people on the chat have ever had to transcribe a PDF to Word, and you just completely, you know, had to do it by hand. Yeah. So Megan's saying, what was that in? So Megan, it was in a PDF. Okay. So all I did, okay, so here we'll do this. Okay. So all I did was I took any PDF document. Okay. I'll just show you again here. Okay. So I just dropped it onto into my drive. Okay. So it's a PDF document. Then I go to open it. So I click on it, but you see this open with, this is the magic. This is the key to the treasure kingdom. So you open it in Google Docs. And when you open it in Google Docs, it takes all of that PDF, and you can see even the handwriting. This is what optical character recognition does. Okay, it takes all of that PDF and it puts it into a Word document. Now I have to go through, you know, my VA will do this for me, right? But that's gonna save, I don't know, half an hour of time, easy. And it was instantly. So it's a Google Docs functionality. Can you do it in Microsoft Word? I don't think, no, I don't, someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think you can open up a PDF into a Microsoft Word document. I don't think that's possible. Yeah, this is the magic. You have to be using a tool that has OCR, optical character recognition. Yeah, Adobe Acrobat Pro, like Evernote, if you use Evernote, it'll do it. And converters, absolutely, like small PDF will do it. This one's just really, really fast and easy, and you don't need an extra, you know, an extra tool to do it. So, oh, and the other thing I wanted to show you in Google before we start to close here is, so I've just opened up the document here. Yes, PDF to doc is another one that will do this, and it will make PDFs smaller as well. I just like this feature because it's so fast. Yes, or you take a PDF doc and save it as Word. Oh, okay, I haven't tried that. Sometimes the PDFs are locked, so I think this also helps with that as well. Okay, here's one last tool before we start to close. Can you see the sharing feature of the document I have here? Just put a thumbs up. Hi, Josephine, thanks for joining us. Okay, can people see the sharing feature? Yeah, okay. So probably, I'm guessing, probably you know that in Google, you can share documents, and you can see this document that anyone has the link can view it. This person can edit it, this person can edit it. I'm gonna guess that most people know that. What you may not know is if you hover over, so if you hover just beside the type of sharing, a little clock pops up. And you can say, well, that person can edit, view, or comment for a certain amount of time. So this is incredible. Like if you need to only have people being able to access documents for a certain amount of time, you can do that in a Google Doc. It's very, very simple. Again, I just hover over here, and that's how you can set the expiration date. Make sense? Do you have any questions about that? So if you're in a group, you're collaborating on a document, and you need, you only want people to access it for so long, then that's how you do it. Super, super simple. Okay, so back to sharing the PowerPoint here. Okay. Okay, so you guys have done amazing. We've gone through a ton of tools. We've got 3 different types of tools. I also have tools just for fun, which I've been keeping a list of those. So I will email those to Roundtable members. So make sure that you have make sure that you've joined if you haven't already. And I just want to use our last few minutes here. I don't know about you, but time has just flown. to think about, I really want this to be super, super, super practical for you, super easy, and to make sure that you actually use some of the things that you've learned. So I love this quote here: knowledge without application is like a book that's never read. So, when you're thinking about all of these tools, and you're learning, think about how you've captured your learning, right? You'll have access to the video, to the recording, to the chat, to the PowerPoint, all of those things. Think of it how you can share your learning, use it as an individual in your community with your organizations, and how can you stay motivated and and keep accountable, because it is easy to rely on the tech that we know and only stick with that, and not be proactive and have a really good tech plan so that it's customized and it's solving the problems that we have, that are unique to us. So I would love to hear, please put in the chat one example of how are you going to use your learning from this workshop. What's one way that you're going to use your learning from this workshop? Is there any particular tool that you're going to use, that you're going to try? Is there what's one thing that you'd like to do with the things that you've learned? Oh, Larix wants to volunteer on Be My Eyes. Moinamid, sorry, I probably butchered your name, creating reports and online meetings. Great. Text expander, yeah. Oh, that's such a great one. Looking for a good project management tool. Oh, Talby, I actually have a spreadsheet. I'm going to make a note here. I will share the project management spreadsheet that I put together that sort of it summarizes a bunch of different tools. I'll put that in the list of resources too. I'm just making a note here. Yeah, it goes because there's so many of them. Oh, this is great, you guys. This is so lovely. Rodas is a to-do list app. That's great. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Data visualization and bookmarking. Nice, Francoise. Megan installed Digo. Wow, that's so great. Oh, fantastic. And she's installed Grammarly. Wow, wow. Oh, I'm so grateful that you're here. Like, really, I could barely sleep last night. I was so excited about doing this workshop. Annotation in Google Docs, to-do list from Rabina, Wilfred, Google Docs, text expander, workflowy. Oh, this is great. Sorting the bookmarks. Yes, yes. Thanks, Kirsten. Leah's going to read up more on Be My Eyes, supporting children. Oh, who have challenges in your church. Oh, I love that. Oh, that's fantastic. Sharing tools with colleagues, sharing Be My Eyes and text expander. Rabina saying, I'm going to have tech learning and L&D for fewer colleagues. Great. Sticky notes. Oh, lovely, lovely, lovely. Fantastic. Oh, that makes my week. Oh, and Panina says, Be My Eyes. It's so exciting to get a call on Be My Eyes. It's really, really exciting. Okay, so, and one is going to try Basecamp and to do, nice. Okay. So, when you're thinking about, and Larix is saying that the OCR option, yeah, absolutely. When you're thinking about using your learning, think about the category of the tool. Do you most need to focus on research and listening? Do you need to most focus on teaching and learning and communication, or ease and efficiency? I'd have to take a look, but I think a lot of the ones you've talked about here are ease and efficiency, which is usually the most popular one. Okay, so this is basically everything that we've done here. Yeah, and Gordon's saying discipline. Yeah, absolutely. These tools do take the discipline for sure. So we've talked about how to be in control of tech, how to stay in the driver's seat by knowing your tech personality, by rewriting Einstein's theory of relativity, and then being really, really mindful, especially now. Are you looking to just put a toe in and try something super easy and simple? Are you okay to spend a bit more time, take a dip, or are you really able to dive in? And whatever your answer is to that question, that is totally fine, right? So be kind, give yourself grace, and have realistic expectations. And then really think about the tools that can serve you. Stay in that driver's seat, figure out your pain point, and then look for a way that the tools can help you. Okay, so in closing here, I'd love to, if you're up for it, one of the very last things, if you want to put on your video, I'd love to take a screenshot and we can put that in the follow-up resource list if you like. So why don't we do that now? So if you want to, it's only if you want to, don't feel any pressure to do this. But if you do want to screen grab, just turn your video on. Know that for some of your screen grabs, your name is there. So if that's okay, yeah, just be mindful of that. So I'll just leave another minute if you do want to turn your video on. Oh, so great to see you all. Okay. Okay. Anyone else want to put their video on? Oops. Oh, why is it not letting me take a? Huh. My normal. Why won't it? Okay. I haven't done this before, but for some reason it's not allowing me to take a screen grab. Oh, wait, there we go. Okay, here we go. Okay, ready? On the count of 3, maybe everybody wave. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Nice. Okay, great. Okay, I'm gonna go back here. Okay, so our next meeting is May the 15th. And I know some of you weren't able to have a video option. That's yeah, bandwidth, and that's totally fine. Okay. Oh, screenshot. So I just do my normal, what did I do? Control-Shift-4 for a screenshot. You've got some lovely, I'm in Chrome. Yeah, Krishna, I use Chrome. I don't know if Safari is being abandoned. I'm just looking at the chat here. Rhoda, I like to think I'm a dolphin. I can get pretty, I have to be very mindful of my learning curve. So but yeah, I love tech. It's been so helpful to me. And the last year has just been a game changer for me in terms of, I've always used tech a lot, but especially in the last year. Gordon, yes, the chat is saved and will be available to all of the Roundtable members. Oh, Slido, Arnold is saying, okay. Oh, yes, that's a great, yeah, that's a great point Gordon made. So if you drop your connection and then you come back in, you won't see the previous chat, like you won't be able to see it in real time, but that entire chat is saved. So you can see, don't worry, the whole chat is saved and you'll see that. Okay, the attendance sheet. Make sure by the close of business today, if you are a UN staff person and you want this to count towards your mandated training, the only way to get it to count is to fill in that attendance sheet. So make sure that you do that. And also make sure that you're on the mailing list. That's how you get the access to the video, the chat, the audio, all of those kinds of things. And also, these are all of the resources that we covered here. So with all of these hyperlinks, and oh, gee, you know, if there was only a quick way to share them with you. One thing I didn't tell you, and I hope this is a bit of a delight, is that the workflowy, I made that link public. So in just a moment, I will put that in the chat, and then you just click on that link and you'll instantly get all of the resources. So I'll do that in just a minute. And someone's asking about the attendance sheet. I will put the link to the attendance sheet as well. And also, I'm going to stop recording in just a moment. So I just want to sincerely thank you. I'm absolutely, it's just my pleasure to serve, and hopefully you found this helpful. And if you want to have the next roundtable be based on kind of the same thing, you know, but just more and more tools, or some very specific tech questions, you know, how to engage people online, how to hold online meetings that don't suck, those kinds of things, let me know in the chat, let me know in the Facebook group. I'll put all of those links in the chat in just a moment. And also, if I can be of service to you and your organization, either helping you put in-person courses online, how to use tech in engaging ways, how to host online events, webinars, EGMs, extraordinary general meetings with impact, how to teach online, I would be happy to talk to you about that. So drop me an email, and I'm going to just stop the recording now. Oops. Okay. Oops. Okay. So I will